Hello. Nice to see you again. My name is Lauren Heistad. I have been reading chapter by chapter my book Homecoming. Today's no different. We're moving on to chapter 11, short but sweet. Okay. I am very fortunate to have a large collection of inspirational stories and experiences throughout my lifetime. Many of them demonstrate angelic intervention, miraculous healings, spiritual encounters. However, I did want to take the time to point out not all spiritual moments are in such a grand scale. Of course, any time spent with spirit is grand. It's definitely grand. But the events don't necessarily need to be so extraordinary. In fact, many of the smaller encounters I have had with spirit are also some of the most memorable and the ones I hold dearest to my heart. They are the small whispers you hear when you wake up in the morning, the knowing you get when you look up at just the right moment to watch a butterfly gracefully approach with a message of hope from above, or the conversations you overhear from passers-by holding insights and wisdom on a topic you were just pondering. I always watch for signs. Still to this day, I always watch for signs, and I use my intuition to direct my journey of life with as much grace as ease as possible. Here are some of my personal favorite moments demonstrating spirit working around the clock to provide guidance and support. I encourage you to start watching for your short but sweet moments with the divine. Okay, I shop at a thrift store for most of my family's clothes and household items. I love a bargain. I do. I love a bargain, and I'm also very conscious of reusing items whenever possible to help preserve Mother Earth. If you think for even 1 minute your angelic team is too busy to help you with your shopping list, think again. I have come to learn to state my intentions and shopping needs in advance of the actual trip to the store. If I make my list and trust in the divine, I will shortly thereafter hear when it is the right day to go, and will even be guided down the right aisles of the store. In this fashion, I have secured books by particular authors, denim jeans down to my favorite size and brands, and even specific and unique household items on my wish list. Try it. It's great fun. Another one, short but sweet. My angelic team is always at work finding the most efficient routes along my path of life, even when it comes to driving. Oftentimes I will get a nudge to turn off on a street I had not intended to go, or to stumble, or what? Oftentimes I will get a nudge to turn off on a street I had not intended to go, only to stumble across a unique shop, or to discover I had narrowly avoided an accident or traffic jam. Other times, I will get the urge to stop in a favorite store even on a day that I'm running late. On one particular occurrence, I took a detour on the way to work. The detour was in response to an inner nudge to stop at my favorite bookstore even though I had no intention of buying a book. When I arrived, I walked around down the aisles wondering why I'd been guided to make the impromptu visit. Immediately after I posed the question, I rounded the corner and bumped into a good old friend I had not seen in years. I had, however, been thinking about her just the day before and was wishing we could reconnect. Sometimes these chance encounters are needed on my part, and sometimes I am guided in a specific direction because a dear friend is the one who needs the encounter. Either way, it is always divinely orchestrated. Okay, here's another one. I'm already a self-professed bird lady, so I'm sure the notion that feathers bringing angelic messages will be of no surprise. Feathers always show up in the strangest of places on the days I most need to hear from my angelic team. For example, one of the many times in my life when I was questioning my healing experiences and purpose in this world, the tiniest little white feather floated down from the heavens and landed right on my lap. The unique part of this story is that it was inside my home and I was sitting on the couch. And no, we don't have anything that's downfilled in our house. And you can take from this story what you will, but the important part about welcoming spirit into your life is to gratefully accept these small gifts and gestures, never doubting the messages are provided by the spirit world as reassurance of their presence. To do so is to live a blessed life. Other times, feathers are found right where you would expect them, out in nature. However, it is how and where they are found that signifies a divine message was involved. One time, I was walking along a trail and talking with my spirit, asking a question about my life's path as a healer, and in response to my inquiry, as I looked to the sky for answers, I was instead guided to look down, and there at my feet was the most beautiful feather. To me, the feather symbolizes our connection with the divine and their infinite presence in our lives. These small gifts are used from the heavens to confirm we are on the right path and protected in all that we do. Message received. 1111. Now, that's my magical number. It is a silent encouragement I receive from an angelic cheering section. To me, the number represents new beginnings, and my dream is quickly manifesting into reality. Okay, but not too quick, right? Okay. The number confirms I am on the right path and making the right decisions. What I have learned to recognize is that I am always guided to look at the clock at just the right moment to witness this supportive message from above. In fact, I was just sitting here pondering what short but sweet experience I should write about next, when I was guided to look at the clock to find my answer, and there it was again, 11:11. Speaking of clocks, I also had an encounter with an antique clock. The masterfully crafted timepiece belonged to my grandpa and grandma, and I inherited that clock years later after my grandparents had already passed. The actual clock didn't work anymore. Over the years, it received many tune-ups. However, the hands no longer moved and the chime no longer worked. No matter how many times we wound that clock, it stopped once it reached 4 o'clock. That being said, the clock still proudly displayed in my kitchen silently, defying time. On one particular day, I was thinking about how everything always happens for reasons, and everything in its own time. At that exact moment, that old clock began to chime. In fact, it chimed 10 times, while the hands stood firmly at 5 o'clock. Never before and never again did I hear that clock chime or witness its hands move. However, I look forward to the day I do. For I will know my dear friends from the spirit world are once again providing confirmation to my timely thoughts. Physical ailments in our body are also a gift and message from spirit, although most of society does not perceive them as such. Physical ailments come into our lives as a navigational tool. It's true. As a navigational tool. If we listen, truly listen, our bodies will point us in the right direction, help us create balance in our lives, and keep us from veering from our path. Many of the aches and pains we endure as humans are just road signs. It took me many years to understand the navigational system of my body. However, once I understood the language, life became a lot easier. Okay, activating your soul works. Spirit is all around and within us. We are spirit. We are all powerful souls of light here on earth to have a human experience. Our angels and guides are always by our side and always willing to lend us a helping hand, even if you have not personally experienced or recognized spiritual encounters. Your angelic team is always working behind the scenes for you. For you. Thank God. Learn how to listen with new ears. View the world with new eyes. And hold a belief in your heart, amplifying an acceptance of a world that is so much greater than what initially meets your eye. Believing in the unknown opens your awareness, provides clarity to your perceptions, and increases your sensitivity to the spirit world. In doing so, you will start to notice an increase in the vibrancies of color and the energy that is all around and within you. There are infinite ways Spirit will communicate with us here on earth. The possibilities are only limited by our mind. In fact, I encourage your spirit guides to provide proof of their existence. Open your awareness by believing in their presence and then actively watch for their signs. Once you receive a sign, give thanks. Always remember to give thanks. Avoid the impulse to dismiss the encounter as mere chance. It is in those small but mighty moments when Spirit truly shines and reveals their infinite commitment and involvement in our lives. Once this bond is recognized, there will be no limit to what your combined light force can achieve. So let's get started. Your move. Establish your thing. Ask your spirit guides to show you a sign of their existence and ever presence in your life. Keep your mind open. My thing is strategically placed birds. However, your sign can be any number of things. Once established, trust that every time your sign enters your life, your spirit guides are supporting you. Also establish a sign to show you are on the right path. I utilize 1111 for this purpose. Again, your sign will be personalized and have meaning to you. Perhaps it's a color, music, animals, or symbols. The possibilities are endless. Trust in the information received and acknowledge your guides anytime your signs present themselves. Respond. That's a good one. Signs provided by Spirit are like signposts along your journey. If you are pondering a positive change in your life and receive confirmation from Spirit to move forward, do not be the person who complains that nothing in their life ever changes, and yet are afraid to make the first move when an opportunity presents itself. Trust in your inner wisdom. Your higher self is just as capable of providing guidance as your angelic team. In fact, we are all energetically connected. Go within your heart, listen for signs and messages from your higher self. Move forward with your gut feelings and instincts. Trust you are where you are supposed to be in life and strive to enhance your experiences. Your path can be as exciting and successful as you desire. So dream big. One more. Enjoy the small things in life. Life is grand when we take the time to enjoy yourself and those around you. Live in the present moment and cherish every minute here on earth. Watch for the magic and divine inspirations that are all around you. Many small and precious experiences will produce more nourishment for your soul than a handful of one-time events. Take inventory of your life-defining moments, small and large. Give thanks for your life and the divine light that is present within us all.